Hi guys! So I am nearing the end of my quarter for school and I have done really well so far, and I wasn't really sure of what to expect when going into this program, which if you watched one of my other videos you might have heard that. But I thought I could make a list of 10 things that I wish I knew before I started and actually got into the program. I'm doing really well. I'm nearing the very end. Like I have like a week or two left, a week of actual like stuff to do, and then the last week is just finals week. But yeah, there's a lot that I've learned that I wish maybe someone would have told me, or I would have kind of had an idea of before I kind of got into the program, and I thought I would share those. So yeah, I have 10 things that I wish I would have known before getting into the program. And if you see me looking down, it's because I have some notes here because I've been keeping track. And the first thing, we'll just get right into it. The first thing that I wish I would have known is that your time isn't only yours anymore. Which I know sounds weird. You are required to be there on certain days, certain times. We all know that. Attendance isn't taken necessarily, but I have seen that my teachers do mark, who's there. So that way if anything comes up or, you're having issues, they can tell you like, well, you haven't been here, you haven't shown up. But not only are you pretty much just expected to be there, like attendance is expected. You're paying for it, you're working for it, you worked really hard to get in there, but you also have to make time that you weren't expecting. Obviously study, that kind of time, homework time, all that stuff is expected. You know that. But there's more time that kind of pops up out of nowhere that, like things happen. Not everyone is on the same page, and so sometimes things have to be flipped as far as class times, when to go. For example, today is Friday, and I don't have anything on Fridays. I have Fridays off completely from school, and I just got back from school because I had to go meet with my teacher today. And there's so many people that have to meet with her that it's not really at my time, it's more of what time does she have that I can make it to. So yeah, you have your studying, you have your test time, you have your class time, and you know about those. Those are pretty solid. But there's a lot of stuff where group projects, which I never thought I would have so many group projects in nursing school. Who would have thought? But your group projects, you got to get together with your group. You got to practice to present, which, who would have thought? But yeah, you just have to kind of make sure that you are committed enough where if something comes up and it's not within the known time frame, or it's not written down in your schedule, that you're going to be able to make that. And I wish I would have known that. I gave up my job to be able to do this, so I was able to do it, but it does kind of throw a wrench in, I plan my life day by day, hour by hour, I swear. So when something comes up that I don't have written down, I'm like, whoa, I have to reschedule my entire day. And that kind of threw me off. The second thing, number 2, is within a matter of weeks, you're gonna make friends that, it's so crazy. You're gonna make friends that those friendships are almost more than the friends that you've had for years. I know, it sounds absolutely bonkers. I like these people in my classes because we see each other every day. I sit by people, but we do this thing where we kind of like try and move around. Like I might be at one table one day and then the next table another day, and then I might even say at that table the next day, but kind of move to the seat next to it, and then someone new comes and sits next to me. So you're constantly moving. Like I think my cohort is very good at trying not to form cliques, and we're all we know everybody, we're all talking to everybody. But I found that there's some people that I naturally bond to, and it's like you're learning about things that are so personal, like nursing is like, I think one of my teachers said, like, as a nurse, you're going places that nobody else is gonna go. No one else wants to go. So I can show up and, you know, the person that is in my clinical group is telling me about the wild bowel movement they had that morning. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like, you know, like it's weird, but it's also like in the few weeks we have gotten so close that it's like, no, like I know you. Like I feel like we've been friends for years, even though I just met you a few weeks ago. And I mean, it's great because, you know, you're going through something that is so out of the ordinary and so difficult and so hard to do. And you've got these people that, even though you barely know them, it's like, I can talk to them and I can express things to them and we can really like work together on things and act like, you know, like this is something that, you know, it's just, it's so, I don't, for lack of a better word, like it's like magical. It's like I'm meeting these people and it's so crazy to me because all of a sudden it's like I found myself going to a concert with one of them, you know, like, and I barely know them, but it's like I know them. I know all about their home life. I know all about their upbringing. Like, it's not the basic, like, tell me about yourself. It's like, I swear I know everything. And it's so great. And I really look forward to the next, you know, I've got almost a little less than 2 years with these people. And I'm just like, I can't imagine how much closer we're gonna get. I had a teacher tell us that, you know, people in nursing school, when she was in school, they were in her wedding. They were her bridesmaids in her wedding. And I'm like, I don't know about that. And now I'm like, I could see a potential of that. Like I really could. Like these people I'm really bonding with. And it's such a good feeling because you kind of go into this feeling like you're the only one of your friends going into this, like into this program. It's not like, oh, me and my friend are going to go to school together at, you know, the university. I'm going by myself into this program. My friends aren't going. They don't know what I'm going through. But then these people, you're so close to them that it's like you have friends to lean on and they know what you're going through because they're going through it too. And yeah, so moving along, number 3, and I know this one is probably a obvious one, but the tears are coming and it's okay. It's okay. You know, like things, it's hard. It's a program that's literally teaching you stuff that you have never done before. I have never placed an indwelling catheter before. So why am I so down on myself when the first time I'm with a, you know, like a mannequin and I'm doing it, I can't remember what I'm doing. I passed my test though. That's beyond now. I can do that in my sleep. But what I'm saying is the first time you're into something and then, you know, the teacher comes over and they'll tell you like, oh, do this, maybe try this, and give you feedback. It's meant to help you, but man, you take stuff personally because you'll look over and you'll see that person that does it like it's absolutely nothing. And it's one of those like, wow, I wish I could do that. And yeah, I've had a couple times where I couldn't get something right away, or even if I did get it, but I feel like I didn't do it as well as I could have, I've had to step out and go into the hallway and just like my eyes fill up with tears. And it's like a really tough, like, you know, you get into your head, and it's because you set these high standards for yourself because it's hard enough to even get into this. So once you do, it's, you know, it's like you got to be the best you can be. But you have to remember that you're doing stuff that you've never ever thought you were going to do before. And you'll get through it. Like millions of people have. It's not a new thing. Like you just have to remember there's going to be some bumps in the road, but you're going to keep going. And yeah, like I've cried for happy things. I've cried feelings of, wow, what am I doing? I've done a test, and even though I got a 90%, I was upset that I didn't get, I feel like every test I go into, my goal is 100%. But I can get a 90%, and then I'll go in my car and tear up because I see the questions that I got wrong after the test is submitted, and I'm just like so hard on myself and down on myself. Like, why did you not do that? Why did you not say that one? Why did you, you know, like that kind of a thing. And it's hard, and you just have to give yourself some grace and just remember like you're doing the best you can and you'll get through it. But yeah, The tears are coming, and it's totally normal. It's okay. It's natural. You're doing something that you don't know. So number 4 is you are going to face things that are absolutely, completely out of your comfort zone that you never thought you would ever do. And that is part of the job. Who would have thought? I've had sim labs that, you know, after it's done, my simulations, I walk out and I'm like, I would have never thought I'd have to do that. Never in my life. Like, even when I picture myself as a nurse, I'm not doing that. Like, what? I don't want to give too much away because I don't know how similar people's sim labs are, but yeah, oh my gosh. But yeah, you're gonna do stuff that you know, like I said earlier, catheter care. I mean, I don't know. I never pictured like going into nursing and being like, oh, you know, you like if you're in labor and delivery, you're gonna help the mommy with the baby, you know, you're gonna help with pushing, and then, oh, catheters. You know, like it's one of those things that you don't, it's one of the things that are kind of in the back of your mind, you don't really think of, and so then when the time comes, you're like, oh, I'm doing this. Or wound care, you know, like assessing someone's wound and all that kind of stuff. Who would have, I don't know. I never really saw myself doing that. And then now that I do, I'm like, well, this is cool. This is great. This is new. But yeah, like the whole purpose of this program is, you know, even if you don't want to do something because you're like, I can't do that. I've never done that. It's okay. You're going to get through it. And the whole point of the program is to push you to do stuff that you're not comfortable with. That's just how nursing is. And I just, it's amazing seeing the progress that you make. And I look back and I have these sign-offs, these check-offs that I have to upload that have to do with all the things that I'm able to do and I've been signed off on. And I look at them and I'm like, wow, I can do that. Like, oh my gosh, who would have thought? But yeah, and then number 5, and I think this is such a big one because I am the most passive person you can meet. It's always been a joke that I avoid conflict at all costs. I don't want anything to do with, you know, confronting people. I hate confrontation, which everyone always joked with me. I was like, well, how are you going to be a nurse? I hate confrontation. I don't want to have to look at someone and tell them not to do something. I hate reprimanding people. I hate looking at someone and saying, you're doing that wrong. I'm not that person. I'm absolutely not. I might look at someone else and be like, hey, they're doing that wrong. And then they say something, which I've done before. But I am not the kind of person to confront someone. And so number 5 is please be an advocate for yourself. As a nurse, you're going to be an advocate for patients. How are you going to be an advocate for patients if you are not working on being an advocate for yourself? I mean, I'm not that kind of person, and now, wow, it's a really good feeling when I notice that I had something graded that I'm like, I don't know about that. And then I talk to someone that has to do with what was graded, and it turns out it was a mistake. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like if I didn't say this, I would have gone this whole time thinking something else that necessarily wasn't right was right. So when I tell you, it is so important to be an advocate for yourself. If there's something that bothers you, bring it up. If there's something that you have concerns about, bring it up. Because you're going to get to a point in your career when there are patients and they aren't going to advocate for themselves, whether they don't want to, they can't, they don't have those resources. You need to do that for them, you know? And I just think it's so important to start that now. Even if it's for someone else, like you could see, you know, one of your classmates is struggling with something and you could, you know, help with that. And I'm so sorry if you hear my phone vibrating and blowing up. We have a group project we're working on and all of a sudden it's due in a few days and we have to present and everyone's talking now and we're getting get everything settled and put together. But yeah, don't settle. If there's something that you deep down think is wrong and you need clarification, or you know, you think you deserve something different. We had a project that we turned in and we were graded on something, and we noticed that in this project, we are specifically told, and it is stated in our textbooks, Do not do this. And we had an outside grader grading it, and they found something that they wanted us to improve on, and we got marked down like, I think it was 1 point, and it's worth 100, so it's 1%. And yeah, it's not a lot, but when you're in a program that, you know, you need a certain amount to pass, and if you don't meet that amount, they let you go. You know, that 1% could mean a lot. So we reached out, and then sure enough, like, they responded like, wow, good job on reaching out to me and pointing that out. Like, I'm going to give you that back. I apologize. I understand how you're thinking and what you've been taught and all this stuff. So yeah, it's so important to be an advocate for yourself. It is so important, and it benefits you more than you know. It really does. You know, I came into this as the most, like, you could tell me what to do and I'll do it. I'll just do it. It's okay. If you mark me down for something and I don't think it's right, it's okay. And now I'm like, no, I need to stand up for myself, because I'm going into a profession where I could be someone's last resort. I could be someone's last lifeline to get this figured out. And I want to be that person to do more than I thought I could for them and do good by them. So yeah, definitely be an advocate for yourself and don't settle. Don't settle. Number 6 is the amount of resources you have is infinite. I mean, absolutely crazy. I have 20 textbooks that I've bought and that I have, and basically the class teaches based off of those books and the online stuff that goes with it. You know, it's like a normal class. But I've found that even though I read the book, there are YouTubers that go through the same exact book, go through the same exact kind of content, and they make all of these beautiful, wonderful PowerPoints that are not only what I'm learning, but they kind of go into it in different detail, a different way, and sometimes it really clicks. I'm telling you, it really clicks. And not only do you have stuff like that, but you have other people. Like, I have not just me and the resources I have and that I know of. I've reached out to people in my classes, and they've shown me stuff that I've never seen before. Like, there's a book that was made and it's sold on Etsy, and I bought it, and now I'm just like, this takes what's in the textbook and really, like, brings it down to like a 3rd grade level of this, and this. But then my textbook tells me everything why. And it's just the amount of resources, like, it's just crazy. You've got YouTube, you've got books, you've got all these PowerPoints, you've got articles that you can look up, you know, like, if you think one thing affects this, you can look it up and find out actually it's this that affects that, which it affects that. Like, there's so much out there. There's so much. And not only is my stuff or my resource pretty infinite, I've got classmates who also have different resources that they know of. And when you all come together, it's just, I don't even have enough time to look at all these resources. Like, and it's just, it helps you so much. It don't base everything off just what they give you. If you study all of that and you know all that, that's wonderful, that's great. But you really want to keep pushing past that. Study what they give you, study what you're supposed to know, but then enhance that a little bit more, because then you'll find yourself connecting ideas to other ideas, and that's what it's all about. Number 7 is, you're gonna sit there and you're gonna ask yourself, you're gonna go the most uphill battle you've ever been in, and you're gonna be almost at your breaking point where instead of doing what you know you should be doing, and instead of focusing, you're gonna sit down and you're gonna feel like you are at your breaking point, and you're gonna get to that point, and you look back now and think like, who was that? But you're gonna get to that point and you're gonna ask yourself, why am I doing this? Like, even though this is what I want, even though this is something I've been working on for years and years to get here, you're gonna find yourself thinking, why am I here? Why am I doing this? Why am I putting myself through this? I've never been so pushed to my breaking point and thinking I can't do something. And you look back afterwards and you're like, what? Like, I know why I'm doing this. I worked so hard to do this. And it's just, it's normal. It's absolutely normal. And then For me, I did think of like, why am I doing this? But the one that really got me was I brought myself down so much by thinking to myself, I'm gonna be in this state of life, like this constant state of stress and worry, and just, I'm gonna feel like this mentally for the next 2 years. Like, that's really what got me. And I was like, how can I do this? Like, why am I doing this to myself? And then it doesn't help that while you're thinking this way, you're learning about how stress affects the body and ultimately can kill someone. But then you're here like, wow, I'm really gonna put myself through this immense stress that I am terrified of and I don't know what to do about it. There's nothing, I just have to work through it. But this is gonna be like this for the next 2 months, and it really gets to you. Totally normal. It's okay to think about it. Just don't act on it. There's people that I have met in my classes that are the most amazing people, and people that I'm like, you are born to do this. Like, I think you are born to do this. I envied them when we first started, and they immediately act on it. And I'm like, don't act on it. And then the next thing you know, they think that mentally they're not able to do this, and it causes just more issues. And I'm like, it'll pass, I promise. Like, I understand it's hard, but like, you've got to use your resources. You got to use the people around you. You've got to talk to people. If you have a therapist, put them on speed dial. Like, you've got to talk to people. You can talk to your teachers. Like, even the teachers, it's amazing how different they are than when you're in class. I'll find myself when I talk to a teacher outside of class, it's like the first thing they ask is, so tell me about yourself. How are things going? What's your home look like? You know, like, it's just, there's so much that goes into it. And when you question yourself and you don't give yourself that grace to think, I can do this, or you don't tell yourself, I'm only thinking of this right now. I'm not going to think this way tomorrow in 12 hours when the assignment's over and turned in. It's just, yeah, you're going to question. You're going to question yourself, and you're going to question, is this something I want to do? And then on the other hand, you can think, oh my gosh, in 2 years, this is going to be over, and I'm going to be free, and I'm going to be so happy and so proud that I did it. So you just have to picture that finish line and get to it. You just got to get to it. I realize this video is really long, so I guess I should probably speed it up because, I don't know, I'm probably saying a lot of random stuff at this point. Number 8, financial status is important. It is important. It's stressful. It's a lot. But, you know, kind of think that there are going to be some things that come out of nowhere. Group projects. I just spent money on a group project that I was not expecting, but man, we got a good grade. But there's stuff that's going to come up that you're going to need something for. So if you're going into this already stressed, just know that there are going to come some things that you might need to spend $20 here, $20 there, you know, like not often at all. But there are going to be some times where you're going to need some kind of something. So before you get into the program, try and save something. Have something set aside for an emergency fund. You know, if your car breaks down, you're going to need something. And, you know, if you're in nursing school, it's not going to be one of those things where you can just get a job right away and start working. It doesn't work like that. You know, like, your time is so not only yours anymore, like, number one. So you really need to think about that. Set some stuff aside, kind of have a plan of, I have thought of this, I have stuff in case schmutz hits the fan, you know? But yeah, the unexpected income or unexpected expenses, they might show up, they might come, and just have an idea of how you might work about that. Just how you might figure that out and navigate through that. Number 9, there's only 2 more, I promise. I know this is a long video. Number 9 is the feeling of accomplishment is absolutely incredible. And just remember that as you go, please. Oh my gosh. You might go through the hardest thing you've ever done in your life. You might give a presentation and the entire time think you're gonna pass out. This happened to me a couple days ago. And the whole time, you're realizing that you're not even focusing on what you're presenting. You're thinking about how is this person going to react when my body hits the floor right there because I'm lightheaded and I'm going to hit the floor. Like, it's the worst feeling. But then once you're done, oh my gosh, it's like a high, that feeling of just accomplishment and, oh my God, I can't believe I did that. Oh my God, I can't believe I put so much effort into that and it's finally done and it wasn't awful. It is the best feeling, and I can't even imagine, like I cannot imagine what it's gonna feel like to be done with this program and graduate. I can't even fathom, because this tiniest little assignment, finishing that has given me the most euphoric feeling. Yeah, so just remember, it might be tough now, but the feeling afterwards is gonna beat all of that. It's gonna overshadow everything, all the doubt, all the negative feelings you had before. It's gonna completely cover all of that. And you'll be so glad you made it through. And then number 10, make time for yourself. There's so much you have to do in this program. There's so much that you have to put into it. Your entire life is dedicated to it. But just remember, even if it's something so simple, like I'm gonna cook a nice meal for myself tonight. Or I'm gonna put a face mask on and take a bath before I go to bed. I downloaded a meditation app, so every time before I go to bed, I kind of quiet my thoughts and I meditate for 5 minutes. And it's basically a mindfulness meditation where I try not to think of anything, and I just live in the moment, and it really calms everything down. It is so important to think about your health, your mental health while you're doing this, because you're gonna realize you give everything. You're gonna give 100% of what you have to this program, to this journey. And it's so important to remember that you are important. It is you that's doing this, and you can't kill yourself doing it. So you have to make time for yourself. And another way is not only yourself, but those friends, that support system, that family that came before this program, go back to them. They pushed you to do it. They've been there for you leading up to it. Give them time. Go to them. Hang out with them. Spend a day with them. Even if it's for an hour and you go to coffee or go to lunch on a Saturday, it's really like when you leave that time with them, it's a completely different, like you're in a different mindset. It's like your social battery is completely recharged, restored, and you are ready to conquer everything. It's like they give you back all of that ambition and that feeling, and it is so good to spend time with the people that were there for you from the beginning. Just take a moment, do something that doesn't have to do with school at least once a week. I try and do it. We have a group. I love it. Some of my classmates, we go to sushi after our test days, which every week we have an exam on a Wednesday. We all wait for each other outside after the exam and we go to sushi. It's just get away, don't think about it, and we call it celebration sushi, but it's like get away, hang out with someone, get your mind off of it, and do something that is not school related, and it's incredible. But yeah, so those are my 10 things that I wish I would have known before I was deep into the program. And yeah, hopefully it helps you guys. Hopefully, it kind of gets you preparing, thinking, and hopefully gets you excited, because this is like the greatest, coolest thing I've ever done in my life. But yeah, so stay tuned, there'll be more. I'm trying to film a little more often. I've already got my next video planned and figured out, because I'm doing amazing and I want to share how I've been doing that. So yeah, thank you for watching, and bye.